Hello and welcome to the Full Force Weekly, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury Editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. In this episode, I bring you all the news from the past week in the world of G.I. Joe. So what is it, me? It's the Full Force Weekly. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Yes, you might be thinking, it's a bit early for a weekly, isn't it? Isn't it usually like on a Saturday morning? Yeah, we've had to change it again. Sorry, guys. And it is only me joining you today to talk the week's G.I. Joe news and periphery nonsense and all that good stuff. Mark saying Friday at 11 p.m. UK time. Day is night, night is day, up is down, down is up. I know, big time. Sorry about this for those that were expecting this on a Friday, but we've had to do it today, of course. Lots to get through though today. Lots of cool stuff to bring you. So we had a chat with Brian Hickey this morning. I did anyway, and we'll be posting an an edited, very, very quick edited version of that today in this episode. So there's a little kind of 4 or 5 minute video. They'll be watching a tiny little bit of that excerpt from that interview. That's only about 9 minutes long anyway, really. But we'll be posting that after the fact. So we'll be talking to Brian Hickey about Total Action Force Volume 3, which we're really excited about. On top of that, obviously, all the usual news about comics, news about what else? The terrible stuff that's happening all the time that means that we might not have toys anymore. You know, all the usual stuff. And of course, things like classified leaks, in-hand images of figures that are not technically out yet, like the retro figures. And an unofficial corner. We've got loads to get through. So how about I stop about bantering around and we'll start in the comics world with a little bit of comics news. Let's do it. Hello again. Yes, so Free Comic Book Day happened a little while back. It was last weekend, actually, wasn't it? And I got the opportunity to sit down with the wonderful Mark, who's in the chat at the moment, and Tim of Talking Joe, to talk about that particular issue and how cool it is. So you can actually go check that out. I will say right now, as you can see on screen, I've put a lot of like spoiler-free scenarios on here, redacted the names. I've, blacked out the image so you can't see who's underneath. So if you haven't read the Free Comic Book Day Energon Universe special, I suggest maybe turning off until I don't know, for about 10-15 minutes before, and then come back later, or just return and watch this later without having watched it live, possibly, or just come back a little bit later, because I'll be talking a little bit about the spoilers that are in this particular issue. And there's a big one. There's another one I couldn't find an image for. Redacted was a crazy reveal, wasn't it, Rexship 85? We'll talk about that now. But yeah, you'll be able to, well, let's just say spoilers ahead. Now, like I said, I got the opportunity to sit down with Mark and Tim to go into massive detail about this. So if you want to check that out, you can after this show, or you can say, Chris, I don't want to watch this episode of the weekly. You're boring me. I'm going to go watch you, Tim, and Mark talk about the FCB. It's totally up to you. You're free to do whatever you want to do. So basically, yeah, you can go check that out. Link in the description to that, or you can find it on Talking Joe's YouTube channel. Whatever you want to do, however you want to listen or watch or enjoy it, you can. I had a great time as always with Tim and Mark, and we got into the weeds on this one and really kind of broke it down in as much depth as we possibly could. So massive shout out to them. Check out all their content as well, and go sub to Talking Joe as well, please and thank you. Now, spoilers coming right next up. So effectively in this issue, we see Clutch, and it's basically it's right on the heels of the last issue of the previous issue of the Energon Universe, which I think was like, is it issue 6? It's 5 or 6. I can't remember which one. But effectively, Clutch ends up in a Jeep that just so happens to be, okay, spoilers bound here, Hound. Now, in that issue, he basically gets spooked by the fact there's a giant robot. He thinks it's a bad guy, obviously, even though Hound's a good guy. There's a little bit of an altercation, and Clutch, who did have on his person like an energon grenade or something like that, that he had from the previous exfiltration of the Cobra situation he was in. If you haven't been watching, doesn't matter. You'll find, if you haven't been reading the issues also, and you don't care about the spoilers, then don't worry about it. Just go watch it. It's fine. And he basically uses his energon grenade to obviously affect Hound as he's mid transformation, and he ends up kind of like, half transformed, kind of all like a mess. Clutch basically decides to take this mangled mess of half transformed Transformer to someone that he knows. And it's at this point that I'm going to reveal, first of all, a cover for the upcoming Energon special. So this Energon Universe 2025 special is going to be not just a free comic book day, but you're going to be able to get it later for cost. Obviously, you have to pay for it. But one of the covers they've revealed is very, very obviously a massive spoiler. I'm not telling you any more, guys. Spoilers ahead. I'm sorry if this is going to spoil anything for those that are watching or coming in late, but it's Matt Tracker from M.A.S.K. All right. And very recently, of course, fairly recently, in the Revolution kind of like IDW combined universe, the Hasbro kind of like brands universe, Matt Tracker is black. Deal with it. And we've had a figure as well in that Revolution box set. Dope figure, by the way. In fact, that whole box set's amazing. Matt Tracker, Rom, amazing. The Dire Wraith is incredible. Leoric, unreal. That Roadblock, Renegades Roadblock, phenomenal. In any case, yeah, Matt Tracker is revealed as the character in this particular issue, throwing M.A.S.K right back into the G.I. Joe universe. And obviously the conversation was pretty, like delving into, what does this mean for the Energon universe? What does it mean for M.A.S.K? Are we getting M.A.S.K like as a comic in the future? And to be like, again, I'm gonna tell you what I said on that episode. I have to imagine that we'll either see more from M.A.S.K in the crossover, kind of in the universe, if not some sort of mini spin-off, which I don't think would be a bad thing. They could do a mini series for sure, couldn't they? Do like a 5-issue mini that brings M.A.S.K's kind of like origin into the Energon universe a little bit. Does that mean, Visionaries down the track? Asks Tony. Possibly, like I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world, honestly. Anyway, so cool to get Matt Tracker show up, and again bringing M.A.S.K into that universe. Very exciting stuff indeed. And obviously, I zoomed in on this on the cover just to see if there's any interesting stuff on here. Something's been redacted. I guess it's all of this information has been redacted, and they just haven't. It just says redacted, but real name Matt Tracker, obviously. Occupation redacted. Primary specialty, advanced technology and vehicle design. What's his occupation then? That's an interesting one. Redacted occupation. Does that mean he's unemployed? Anyway, so yeah, excited to see that we've got M.A.S.K. And here's a screenshot of the conversation at Talking Joe, and of course the page in question where he is revealed for the first time in the issue. And as you can see, Matt Tracker is there working, it looks like, on his own helmet, Spectrum. The famous Spectrum. So that is pretty much that in terms of the spoilers from and I'll show you Spectrum close up there from that issue. Now there is another kind of sort of reveal at the end of the issue where we get reintroduced to a character we haven't seen for a few issues since Cobra Commander, actually. I think it was I think like the last issue of Cobra Commander, or maybe second to last issue of Cobra Commander. But basically, Buzzer shows up. I don't have an image for this, my apologies. Buzzer shows up at the end, and the last time we saw Buzzer, Nemesis Immortal or Nemesis Enforcer, whatever you want to call him, breaks the arm in like takes him for a flight. Buzzer literally breaks his arm in like a hideous way. It's kind of messed up, and then just lets him go over a lake as he's flying around. So Buzzer doesn't die. He shows up at the end of this issue with a chainsaw arm. So he's obviously had an issue with his arm where it had to be removed fully. The break obviously was too bad, too severe, and he's got a chainsaw instead of his right hand. I think it's his right hand. In any case, very cool stuff. And yeah, no image of that one, unfortunately, but only because I couldn't find one, and I didn't want to use the one I had on my PDF because it had like all of the do not share stuff all over it, because it's a copy that you get early, etc., etc. Mark says there have been a couple of indicators we will see more. 1, this variant cover. 2, the anniversary covers by Jason Howard features Tracker. 3, Twitter post from Eric Canate. Very good point there, Mark. Sorry, 3 very good points there. So yeah, I think we're likely to see more M.A.S.K for sure. Rexship says the buzzer reveal is amazing. I'm excited to see Dreadnoks versus Cobra in future comics. Maybe see Ripper have a conflict of interest and whatnot. Yeah, definitely. Mark says, while I think it's likely we will see more M.A.S.K, it's possible that as he was released as a G.I. Joe figure, Tracker might count as a G.I. Joe, similar to Quicksilver being an X-Man and an Avenger. Yeah, so we might get an action figure. That totally. And I could see that happening as well. 100%, Mark. Anyway, that is all I want to talk about with this one, honestly, other than I'm very excited to see M.A.S.K incorporated into the Energon universe. It kind of makes you think, maybe Hasbro have given Skybound carte blanche in terms of their brands, or at least the ones that make sense in the G.I. Joe Transformers sort of field. We've had Prismosians mentioned in either Void Rivals or Transformers. I can't remember which one. I think it was Void Rivals. But yeah, Prismosians, obviously Prismos being the planet from Visionaries. So it's likely we may see these either, nods, little homages, all over the place, but the possibility for, some full on 100% mini series / actual full on comics. There's a real possibility for all of these. So I'm very excited for this. Right then. So, we'll be coming back to M.A.S.K actually, because a little bit later, because of Loyal Subjects made a cool post the other day, which we'll be looking at in a second. But before we do that, we're going to stick in the sort of realm of, it's not really the same realm, but we're effectively coming out of Comics Burst news, and we're going into a little bit of Action Force Volume 3. Now, I had the pleasure this morning of chatting with the awesome Brian Hickey of Total Toy Books fame, and he basically took me through what we can expect with the Total Action Force Volume 3 book Kickstarter coming soon. He explains a little bit more about when that's happening in the interview. Like I said, this is about like 4 minutes, the little clip, and then the full video I'll post after the fact, which, by the way, has got tons more images, concept images, loads more bits and pieces that we don't see in this little clip. But this is a little taster for you guys, and here we go. Right then, I am joined today by the awesome Brian Hickey of Total Toy Books fame to talk about his upcoming Kickstarter campaign for the 3rd volume of Total Action Force. Brian, thanks for joining me today, bud. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Chris. Always great to be back on the full force and talking my favorite topic, which is Action Force.
Absolutely. Now, there is a 3rd volume of Total Action Force coming, which is amazing. Now, that you were very graciously allowed us to be the first to kind of break that news. So thank you very much for allowing us to share that amazing news. What can you tell us about it? I mean, kind of, yeah, what can we expect from this particular volume?
Well, the plan for this volume is to kind of round out the Action Force trilogy that we've been working on since 2021. And what made this book possible was because of the work that I've done with Bob Breakin on the My Palette Toy storybook. I got access to a whole load of images and slides and Polaroids from his personal collection, and also the collection of his late friend and the brilliant palette toy designer, Brian Turner. And those images show images that I'd never seen before of kind of different concepts for some of the different teams, vehicles that they were planning to develop for Z-Force, and also kind of an extension of that, working on the My Palatoy story, I got to connect with Sean Woodward. And Sean Woodward was one of the designers at a design agency called Raffo and Pape. And Bob mentions them a lot in his talks. They were kind of like an independent design agency, and Palatoy would commission them to do a lot of work. So Sean very graciously has given me access to the full
Force.
Raffo the full Force Raffo and Pape archive. So between Bob's personal collection, the Brian Turner's personal collection of images, and the Raffo and Pape archive, that's a huge amount of what you would call kind of concept material or early development material. Some of it made it into production, some of it didn't. And then, of course, what I also want to do with this book is, feature what we did get. We never showed off the carded releases or the boxed releases of the figures in Total Action Force, the battle years. So we want to be able to show that in Total Action Force Volume 3. So the full carded lineups, the full boxed vehicle lineups, all of that. So if you've got Volume 1 and Volume 2, you're going to need Volume 3 to really complete your Action Force story in book form.
Now, obviously, you talked a little bit about what we've got to come actually in the book. What can you tell us about when this is actually kicking off? When is the Kickstarter happening?
I would love to launch the Kickstarter at the end of May. I just need to get, obviously, we've all recently funded the Total Star Wars Toys, the Palatoy Saga book. So I'm knee deep in design right now. Oh, thank you. That was actually, and a big thanks to everybody who came on board and supported that book, because that's another really important part of the overall Palatoy legacy, is what they did for the Star Wars brand. So that's one that's really close to my heart as well. So I'm kind of knee deep in the design on that. So once I've got my first draft design completed, it'll give me a little bit more bandwidth then to launch this new Kickstarter.
Awesome. Links in the description if you want to stay notified on that Kickstarter kicking off, of course, guys. And finally, is there anything else you can talk about regarding the book? I know obviously we got to share a beautiful cover of what we can expect on that cover thing. Yeah, tell us about that artist, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, that's an amazing cover art, and that's done by an Irish artist called Kevin Keane. Kevin's done a lot of work in comics. He's worked on for a lot of the big titles for Marvel and DC. So, and I reached out to Kevin, and he very graciously agreed to come on board and turn that piece around really, really quick for me. So, and he did an amazing piece.
It's awesome, and it's still in keeping with your previous covers as well, which is really nice.
Oh, 100%. There will, of course, be stuff there that you've seen already, because a lot of that, pre-production concept work, it's made it out, amongst the fan community, over the years. So you'll see those kind of familiar pieces, but you will definitely see pieces that you've never, ever seen before.
Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you, Brian, for coming on and chatting with me about Total Action Force Volume 3. Kickstarter coming very soon. Keep an eye on that. And if you want to be notified, link in the description. Also, totaltoybooks.com if you need any information as well. Thank you very much, Brian Budd. Obviously, at the end of all these things, you know what to do. I'll be coming right back to you guys on the Full Force Weekly. But for now, Brian, after 3, I think you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Force! Amazing. Amazing indeed. We never quite line up on our full forces. But anyway, yeah, that was Brian chatting with me this morning regarding the Total Action Force Volume 3. Like you said in the video, that will be going up for going up on Kickstarter in towards the end of this month, possibly going into June. Now, the full version of that we're only talking like a 10-minute interview, but the full version of that will be posted after this episode goes up as well. So look out for that if you want to check out more from that. But again, in that that little clip I showed you, tiny amount of images, but in the other one, in the actual full version, lots of very awesome concepts and cool stuff to kind of check out, and a little bit more discussion on some of the details in there too. So definitely worth checking out after this episode. Total Action Force Volume 3, you can get link in the description. You can click on the Kickstarter landing page and get notified when it goes live. Right then, More information of that to come, of course. But first, we are going to delve into, we're going to go back to weekly now. We've done Comics Burst livery, we've done News Burst livery, and then we're going to go back to the graphics for the weekly. So let's do that. Oh, that was a little bit close. You don't see behind the scenes, but I have to rush around a little bit on the old clicking bits and pieces here, there, and everywhere. Right then, so we'll start with the really happy, world isn't ending sort of news, shall we? Yes, Hasbro price increase incoming. There's been some developments to these sort of things since I, decided to talk about this a couple of days ago. Basically today as well, BBTS put out a bit of information regarding pre-orders post this date. Basically, anything after now will probably suffer surcharge. Will definitely suffer a surcharge, but anything locked in prior to today, pre-order wise, will not be hit with an extra cost. So, effectively, BBTS pre-orders for Hasbro anyway. You're looking at a surcharge being applied from this point onwards, basically. Now, Pulse posted this similar thing, lock-in pre-order pricing today, and obviously this lines up very nice. Like, this is obviously in keeping with what BBTS are talking about today. Lock-in pre-order pricing today. Current pre-orders end May 9th at 12:01 Eastern. So that is effectively what's happening, what happened, or whatever you would say. I'm not even sure what that. The 9th, 12 Eastern on the 9th would have been this morning at 12:01, wouldn't it? When it turned to 12:01. So yeah, it's done now. Unfortunately, pre-order pricing you'll be getting the surcharge basically going forward. Amazon's also removed pricing today, says Stanley. I've noticed that too. Yeah, not fun times, is it? I'm assuming this is US customers only, says RKW. I don't really. I assume so as well. I don't. Yeah, of course, because it's only stuff that's coming into the US, isn't it? Pulse just effectively locking out all pre-orderable figures today is an odd choice, says Rexship85. This has been up for a while. This was up like early in the week. This was up almost, I think, last weekend, I want to say. Who's surcharge? Thank you, Paisano, for that little that's made me feel a little bit better about everything. And I won't be able to think of the term surcharge without thinking of Sir Charge, the knight of the round table. It works as well, doesn't it? Because charge on a horse and all that, whatever. So yeah, it sucks, but yes, we're going to be looking at price increases, and it was always going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. It's not like we were sitting here going, oh no, everything's going to be fine. This is going to happen. The only problem I have with this whole situation is that if things do improve, like if they improve 100%, I'm not going to use percentages here. If they improve 145%, then I still feel like the cost that you will be on the figures will go up. Not as much, but I definitely think there'll be a price raise across, just like a general price raise, just to kind of effectively deal with this period of time that has definitely caused massive problems for not just the little independents or the mid-size companies or the anywhere in between or anywhere between mid-size and a company like Hasbro and Mattel. Everyone in the industry has been hit hard, and it's one of those things where a lot of people aren't going to even survive in this period, and that's the sad thing about it as a company, I mean. And so, if Hasbro and Mattel are suffering, everyone else is 100% getting absolutely decimated. So, So again, like I said, if we get improvements, if even some sort of improvement to the point where it's not impossible to have a business like this, right, in the toy industry, then I still see the prices. I'm not saying they're going to go up, the surcharges applied, because it will probably be itemized, right? but that surcharge is going to be applied, and then I'm not saying it's going to stay that price with a surcharge. I just think it's going to go up from what we previously knew. So I think this will be a moment where a price raise is sort of not even accepted, but just unfortunately is going to happen. And we could have been looking at another year of $24.99 classified retail wave figures, but I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't see that happening going forward. It's I don't know when it's going to. Well, does it ever stop? It'll stop going up when classified isn't a line anymore, and Black Series and Marvel Legends and what have you. It'll keep going up and up until that doesn't exist anymore. But that said, it has been nice kind of being effectively stuck on $24.99 for that price point for a significant amount of time, considering they were upping the price year on year-ish at the beginning, maybe a couple of years between, but it was definitely I think it was like a year on year raise. We went from like 19.99 or whatever it was to like 20, 21. I don't think it went up in ones. I think it went up quite more significantly. I know it was at 22 and then it went up to 24, and I think we were expecting it to go up again. It might have gone 19, 22, 24. I think that's how it went, actually. And because we were expecting that next year price increase, it never happened. It never came. I suppose what they did was they just incorporated loads of different things into the line at higher price points, and effectively were able to keep that other price point stable. So, it's not like it was, yay, they kept the price for it. I mean, they found ways to make more money, as they do, as companies like that will do. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever see $24.99 again. I think that's gone. As far as I'm aware, we're still going to have a Yojo June. What that means, though, or what's going to be in that, I don't know. It's kind of like, I think it's just a little bit up in the air still. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But fingers crossed. Lenny Claus comes through. Sorry, if those that aren't a bit confused as to that joke, it's because I refer to Yojo June. It's like my Christmas. It's every Joe fan's Christmas, Yojo June, I think, and it lasts an entire month. Unlike but the lead up to Christmas starts in like July sometimes, isn't it? But yeah, it's got that kind of that lead up, that build up, and then you put your stockings out for Lenny, Emily, and Tony. You put their little stockings out, their names on it, and you put grape soda and chocolate donuts out for Lenny, for when he comes down your chimney. Gross. You get the point. Anyway, here we go. Mark says it's currently not possible to make any pre-orders on USA Pulse, right? Not just a price increase after the 9th. That's what I've been informed. Yeah. So looks like, Pulse is not taking any orders, or some sort of I guess they're making some changes, is what I would imagine, or things are on hold. But yeah, nothing seems to be happening at the moment. 44D2 says Yojo June, when Hasbro announces all the products they're not going to ship until Christmas. Exactly. And that's what makes it Christmas, right? Cold Slither will still happen, says Paisano. Oh yeah, for sure, but that's SDCC. Hi, it's me, says weird. I thought we would see the new price on pre-orders today, not a temporary unavailable to order, because of the warning. Seemed like they had it ready to go, right? Do they? Come on, you're talking about the tech side of large corporations here. I don't know many corporations that have the tech side of it locked down, honestly. Considering we're still having this argument about AI being introduced and everything. So annoying. Cheers. Hasbro will release everything late in the year. People will be mad because they have to pay all the pre-orders at once. I mean, that happened last year, didn't it? And the year before that. It's like you hope that those kind of things stop happening, but then the world decides no, we're not going to give you the opportunity to do that, and that's what happens basically. Dial Tone's still out there somewhere, Paisano. Yes, indeed. Hoping he's not at the bottom of the sea somewhere. prices must come down once a deal is made. Yeah, like I said, I think they'll come down, but we're not seeing $24.99 again. I think the period of time has caused too much damage, and I think they're going to utilize that as an excuse, because they do use any excuse sometimes. But in this case, it will 100% be more than $24.99, I would imagine. But we'll see. I guess we'll just have to, fingers crossed, hope everything gets sorted out to at least to the point where we can have a functioning toy industry again. Anyway, that'll do for that talk, because I'm already depressed and angry. So should we move on? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Next up, well, I think we're delving into unofficial corner, or is it M.A.S.K? I can't remember. It's M.A.S.K next. Yeah, let's have some fun talking about M.A.S.K. Hey. Okay. M.A.S.K Condor render. Yes, the loyal subjects have dropped a 360-degree render of Brad Turner and Condor from their upcoming M.A.S.K line. The render shows the vehicle spinning in 360-degree motion and shows its conversion as well. So we see it all the way around in motorcycle form and all the way around in helicopter form as well. Or what's it? Gyrocopter. Motorcycle copter form. But anyway, illusion is the ultimate weapon, and it's nice to see a little bit of M.A.S.K news just to kind of like soften some of the blows at the moment. But yeah, they posted this kind of cool little video of the of Condor swinging around, and it's very, I mean, I've seen Condor, I've seen the model, in person, and it's gorgeous. It's just like the original. But one thing I did notice about all of them is that it's one of those things where you look at it and your familiarity is 100%. You're like, yeah, I remember this, yada yada yada, and then you start looking at some of the details on it, and you're like, oh yeah, that wasn't on the original, or that's different, or this is something that there's I can see now. Not in a bad way. I mean, obviously that's going to happen when you're dealing with stuff they're kind of building from the ground up, but basing it on those original vehicles. So, but I tell you what, it's not far off, and they look so good. Obviously, the figures are very much improved, I would say, very much improved. So with the knee articulation, they don't have elbow articulation, but I get that. It's not necessary. The arms still have that sort of ever so just bash my microphone, ever so slight kind of bend in them already. So it's kind of like, that classic nostalgia vibe of the figure. But the heads are so much better. The head sculpts are so much more like detailed. The decos are better. And the helmets look really good too. So I'm really excited for this M.A.S.K line. More so than I thought I was going to. Like, I'm excited that M.A.S.K is back. One, I'm excited for John Warden to be involved. I'm excited for what we've seen so far. But at the same time, I have a huge M.A.S.K collection, original vintage one, that I love, and it's one of my pride and joys. It's all in the UK, but it's like one of my pride and joys is an entire boxed collection of M.A.S.K, Boulder Hill and all the vehicles and everything. And a lot of the European exclusives and some South American stuff. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to have. So like some of the things that we're seeing at the moment are cool, but I'm not like, I definitely need this. What I'm excited for, after speaking to John at Toy Fair, is the opportunity to see new things being brought in that we've never seen before, improvements being made on certain things, getting a proper shark with Gloria Baker for a start, and then like just things like that really, and then other things that we've seen in the cartoon that never transpired in the action figure line. So 100%, there's so many positives about this for me. And like I said, from what I've seen already, very impressed with the quality of the figures and the vehicles. And the fact, the transformations are very much like the way they were, and very much the same kind of vibe. As you can see here, as it kind of transforms or converts, I should say, sorry, you can see the exactly the same vibe. That kind of framework comes up, the blades pop up from the side and create that really. It's an ingenious design to get the blades out, isn't it? Has anyone ever really thought about this? Because I haven't given it enough thought. I thought it was cool when I was a kid, but seeing it again and just being like, actually, that's actually quite ingenious to get helicopter blades out of that thing without it being a bit wonky and weird. like having them pin to the side on those little kind of pegs at the bottom, and having them like flip out, and on that kind of like flex bit of plastic that kind of keeps them taut and like locks them into place. It's ever so ingenious, I think. Hi, it's me, says Chris. Real quick, can we all go see your mask collection? Live stream the trip, please, and thank you. I'll probably post like a I'll probably post another image of it. I've got an old, like a picture of it way before I completed it. I haven't taken a picture of it, so I haven't been back to the UK to do it for a long time. But in the back of my mum and dad's yard, in the garden, the beautiful garden, I put all of the boxes on this table. They're like patio table basically. Behind it was this wall of, you know, gorgeous like fauna or whatever, and a brick wall behind it, and I stacked them all up really neat and took this amazing picture. I can't find the bloody thing. It's posted somewhere, and that was like pretty much everything I had at the time, but that's before I completed it and got all the other stuff that I needed. But yeah, I'll need to do like a little need to do a little when I go to the UK again. I'll take some pictures, maybe post a video, do like a live stream or something. That'd be kind of fun to go through my mask collection. But yeah, hi, it's me. I will aim to try and do that for sure. Yeah, so there you go. It's a shame as well, isn't it, that this is coming or will be coming out around this time where prices are going to be, you know, increased, because we already got price points for these things. I don't remember exactly, but going backwards, I think Rhino's at like 100. Switchblade, I want to say, is like 80, like 79.99, isn't it? And then I think Rhino 100, Switchblade 80. I want to say Thunderhawk is like 60, and then this is like 30. Is that right? Have I got that right? It's something like that. It's something like, there's a breakdown of price, but it's effectively the high end is Rhino at 100. So obviously that's going to go up, you know, whether we like it or not. There's going to be a raise there. How will that affect it? Don't know. But they're still posting stuff about it as of last week. This was in the week, of course. So happy to see that it's still, you know, full steam ahead, full force ahead, right? What? In any case, that's M.A.S.K. Shout out to John Warden and the Loyal Subjects, and excited to see a little bit more in the future from them. Right then, next up, we are talking Fans Hobby. So let's get into it. Yeah, Fans Hobby VE03 images. Another week, another batch of production images for the upcoming Fans Hobby VE03 armed attack vehicle. I've made that bit up at the end. I don't know if it's called an armed attack vehicle. I just said that's what it is, but they've probably actually said what it is, and I just haven't been paying attention. In any case, the VE03, taking a lot of inspiration, of course, from the vehicle that inspired the Ore Striker. Such a convoluted route, isn't it, to say? It's effectively a faux striker, isn't it? But very much got those Chenoweth vibes, which was the original vehicle. Now, they have made some changes to this. I think the wheels have bulked up for a start. And because we reported on this a while back, and because of that, it has almost kind of changed the feeling of this vehicle a little bit. I have to say, it looks even better than it did previously. I thought it looked very much like the Chenoweth before, and now I think it just looks a little bit more. It just looks more like the Ore Striker, without obviously the kind of the laser cannon on the top, and of course having that kind of metal framework on the back for the chair. Obviously, you know, changes that too. But yeah, the tires have definitely been like altered, and that has definitely given it a much different kind of vibe for me. And I think it looks phenomenal. The problem I have is that obviously this is, you know, they're expensive, these things. These are classified scale, you know, 1/12 scale size vehicles. We've got this. We've got the multiple hounds, which we'll be talking about shortly as well, from Gridiron, and we've got a Hasbro Ore Striker coming out. Me personally, I've got to kind of keep it very, you know, I've got to keep it contained and, you know, practical and financially viable, and that means I'm only focusing on the Hasbro classified stuff, right? Given the scope, given the ability, the money, the space, all that kind of stuff, there is no doubt in my mind I would be buying this, and I would be buying the the Air Eagle, and all of the different hounds, it would be so difficult to move in whatever place I lived. But if I had the means, I would probably just buy a bigger place to make sure that I had a house for my G.I. Joe collection. But yeah, it would 100% have, every single iteration of everything that's out there. There's no doubt in my mind that would be the case. I'd have the Hasbro Striker, I'd have the Fans Hobby one, and I have the Gridiron one. As it is, I'm not in that position, so I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to kind of say to you guys, "Oh, get this! You should get this. You should get." At the end of the day, we're all picking and choosing, and it's just got to the point now where that is probably the case for everybody at this stage. Might not be. There might be a few people in the chat like, "No, I get, whatever I want, whenever I want it," and that's totally fine. You do you. But I think for a lot of people, myself included, this is definitely one of those things where I have to just admire it from a distance. But I'm admiring it, and I think it looks really cool. I love the fact that they incorporated this chair and the frame, and then I love the fact that Hasbro did the same for their Ore Striker. It's cool that they kind of incorporated that. They looked at the Chinouth originally, and they said, "Yeah, there's an opportunity here to get another figure on it. So let's do it, or at least give it the option to do so." 44D2 says, "Fans Hobby keep posting updates but no price. With all the price increases coming around, they may have missed the boat with this." Possibly, pun intended, of course, as well. But yeah, I don't. It's hard to say, isn't it? It's hard to say what all the different companies are doing, what they're thinking. I think a lot of people are just holding fire at the moment. They're just waiting, seeing what happens, and then making a decision based on the information at hand. Is all anyone can do, really. Paisana said they increased the price of the Air Eagle about midway through. Yeah, I think I remember that. But anyway, that is the VE03. Loads of nice images as well. What I really love about this version of all the different versions of the Ore Striker that are going around at the moment is the exposed engine and how intricate that looks and how cool that looks. I'm very much a fan of that. And yeah, I like this. I'm not gonna lie, I think it looks cool. I think it's got that, it definitely has that older vibe to it as well. It definitely has that Chinouth vibe to it, especially like when you see some of the side shots like this. It's got that low profile. It's a bit thinner, especially in the kind of front. It doesn't, like the Hound has got a bit more kind of like angle to it and a bit more heft. Definitely got more chonk to the Hound. But this one has definitely got that kind of skinnier Chinouth kind of vibe going on. I really like it. And yeah, just great shots all around. We also have some images as well of the lighting effect as well. But again, that we looked at that in the last episode, but here it is with the figures in tow. You get the kind of rear lights and the headlights, of course, here. And there's a shot of both rear and front headlights next to each other. So you can get a good idea of what that looks like. Very nice. 44D2 says, "It is very cool, but how many versions of the same vehicle do I need?" Exactly what I just mentioned there, 44D2. There's a pick and choose scenario going on here for a lot of people, I imagine. And yeah, it'll just, well, at least we're spoilt for choice, right? Spoilt for choice. It reminds me of that movie, The Three Kings, says Cobra Emperor 6. Yes. Yeah, man, I haven't seen that in ages. That was a banger. Yeah, it does. I feel like there's a little kind of dune buggy in that, isn't there? Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that is Fans Hobby. Shall we move on? Let's move on to same kind of arena and the same vehicle type, but of course, Gridiron's version. Another week, another version of the Hound, and this time Exhibit has been pimping some rides. Yeah, see what I did there? Yes, the Pimp Hound, as it's been called, touted, obviously takes a lot of inspiration from Destro and his Prophet Director look. And of course, I would have to say as well, it's a bit more Iron Grenadier-ish as well, in my opinion. Personally think so. It's not like it's got like leopard print on it, has it? But I think they're just playing up a little bit to that kind of vibe. But this is effectively an Iron Grenadiers version of this. Now, I sort of did and didn't expect this to happen. How many have we got now? We've got, I should do a graphic for all the different hounds. We've got Jungle, Arctic, Desert, Shadow, and now this, right? Is that everything? 5? different versions of the Hound. Yoicks, that's a lot. That's a lot. But like I said, if I had the means, I'd have every bloody one of them all lined up, probably multiples of some, because it'd be like, yeah, cool, you've got your motor pool to build in all the different areas. You'd have to have your Iron Grenadiers room, you'd have to have your Arctic room, you'd have to have your jungle operations. It'd be ridiculous. But anyway, I think the Hound, I'm always going to say it, is a phenomenal looking vehicle. Very, very awesome. The tires, huge. They've gone ever so slightly different in their third person kind of passenger situation. Rather than facing forward like the Chenowth with the kind of the frame around them, they're pointing rear gunner on this one. So you've got a weapon system that points forward that is probably controlled either by the passenger in the vehicle at the front, or maybe some sort of like remote control scenario from elsewhere, sort of drone style. And then you've got obviously them in the back providing rear gunner kind of positioning. Something you don't have on the Chenowth version, or probably the Ore Striker from Hasbro. So it's nice again to have all these different options. And I think they've done so many cool things with this version that it has sort of become its own vehicle. Yes, it does obviously give off vibes of the Ore Striker, but it's so different that, and you can really mess with this vehicle. You can incorporate those the half track on the back, multiple wheels. You can put skis on the front for the Arctic one. There's all sorts of cool things you can do to really change the look of these vehicles and make them into things that they just, it doesn't even resemble an Ore Striker anymore. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much what we're dealing with here. This is effectively, I think, they're calling it what they're calling it, but effectively this is a Iron Grenadiers. This is an Iron Grenadiers deco, isn't it? Red, gold, and black. It's Destro and Iron Grenadiers, 100%. Dreadnought colorway next, says Stanley. Well, I was just about to ask you guys in the chat that. So you think Dreadnought next? I mean, I feel like we have one of these every single week. What do you guys expect in the chat, please, and thank you. I'm going to go with, what am I going to go with? Yeah, I think Dreadnoughts is a really good shout, Stanley. Like some sort of ground assault deco, right? That would be kind of cool. I could see them doing some sort of like riff on Tiger Force that isn't exactly Tiger Force, because obviously they might not be able to get away with that. I could see them doing maybe possibly Python Patrol. Could they do that, do you think? Make it a bit more like, I don't know, more snakeskin like, but the same colors. I don't know. There's probably a lot of options I'm not even considering. Sky Patrol, just all chrome. Now that would be crazy. I think Dreadnought is a good shout there, Stanley, and you can make it a little bit like broken and rough and DIY, like things like taped to it and stuff like that. Would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Just to make it a little bit grimier. I'd be into that, actually. I'd be well into that. But again, it looks amazing. And will you guys be picking one up for your Iron Grenadiers crew? Who's an Iron Grenadiers fan in the chat? Anybody? Who are the IGs in the chat? Because it'll be interesting to know if you'd want something like this for your classified Iron Grenadier team, which is growing a little bit now that we have Metalhead, the Bat, and of course the Iron Grenadier. You get a few, what they're called. You get a few kind of troop builders kind of add to that a little bit. And you have a little bit more Iron Grenadier stuff going on, which is great. Oh, Darkland as well, of course, eventually, hopefully, fingers crossed. Sonic Fighters is just a bright and neon Jackson Pollock masterpiece. It would be, Rec, wouldn't it? Wreck Ship, absolutely. Eco Warriors is a good shout. No one said that yet. But obviously we do have an Eco Striker, so it would be right up there with that. Joe Barrett loves IG. Are you going to get one of these, Joe? Battle Force is Cobra Emperor 6. M Price, IG all the way. Cool. Let me know if you get one of these. And here's a shot of the Baroness having run Destro over and decapitated him. That's dark, isn't it? That's pretty dark. And here's another angle of that shot. Again, dark. I love that that head on that character. I think that's also part of Gridiron, isn't it? But that's pretty dope, actually, that figure. I quite like that. And here's some Iron Grenadiers. There is an Iron Grenadier showing you what they look like with it. Kind of look pretty cool, actually, with it. if I'm honest, because it's definitely a design in keeping with something as cool as this, that Iron Grenadier. For Scotland, you could do a tartan one, Tony, couldn't you? I know obviously Iron Grenadiers is for Scotland, but we need a full on tartan all over that. It'd be amazing. Joe says, with prices the way they're going, no, sticking with G.I. Joe only. Not surprised. Not surprised. Red Shadow RKW, that's a really good shout. That is a really good shout, of course. Doing something that's all red, basically, would be kind of fun. Yeah, for sure. Although the fact they've done this, maybe you're already kind of there. You could just change some of the adornments, mix and match with some of the other available color options, and make your own sort of Red Shadows version. In any case, that is Gridiron, and yet another crazy awesome hound. Hound's come up a lot today, hasn't it? Right then, let's get into the last kind of news beat of the day, for the week, I should say, and we'll finish on gross classified. So, thank you to A Shark-Eyed Toy View and JB and Wolfdog74 for in-hand images of some of the upcoming retro figures. So we'll start with Dr. Mindbender. This is in hand courtesy of A Shark-Eyed Toy View, Adam, over there in Australia. Sorry, I don't know why I had to do that. I'm only saying that because, or I'm only doing that because I get asked if I'm Australian every single day I'm in this country, and I'm like, no, I'm from the UK. I don't have an Australian accent. It's completely different. G'day. But anyway, thank you, Adam, for sending us some images of these. Kind of like just to give me a heads up, really, and I appreciate it very much. You're a good lad, and and again, the Aussies get them first, it seems, and I'm totally cool with that. Enjoy your Dr. Mindbender. Now, card looks phenomenal. I love the digital background. That was always a bonus. One thing I will say about that card art is his left thigh looks ridiculously long, and it's not even just because the knee pad sticks out a little bit. It does actually look a little bit long for where it should be, but even so, it's dope. And Mindbender as a figure looks really, really cool. Now, obviously, I have the exclusive Mindbender, but I very much like the look of this one with the new cape. It's like Malibu Stacy's got a new hat, isn't it? And it looks like this cape is made of different material, so you won't have the same kind of like black rub off that was happening on the other one. I don't think Mindbender got 6 toes in his artwork ship, or fingers, or any other appendages. But yeah, it's a great figure, this Mindbender in general. Like I said, I've got the deluxe version, and he's actually over there, as I'm pointing. You can't see in my Cobra kind of display, but in my Cobra La section. So I've got Serpentor, Nemesis, Once a Man Cobra Commander, and all of the animals that come with those. And of course, Mindbender in the background, sort of kind of slinking away, thinking, what have I done? Anyway, that is, it's such a great figure. I would love that deluxe at the time. The packaging was gorgeous. The artwork on the packaging was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And do you remember that with the kind of like the Serpentor storyline on the back? Oh, it was so good. So good. So and in flexing as well, like huge. Oh god, it was such a good piece of art. Before AI took over. I'm just kidding. But yeah, like it's just so good. And the figure, all of the accessories were really cool. Yeah, the only issue, I think everyone had it, was a little bit of staining, kind of like a little black marks that would be left with coming off that cape, basically. So they've changed that, and we've got a new cape, and it looks pretty dope. So thank you to Adam, and you can go check out his review on A Shark-Eyed Toy View on YouTube. We posted it at the time on our socials, but just go on YouTube and look up A Shark-Eyed Toy View, and you'll go and check it out and go and enjoy it. But it's nice that they finally did the Cobra sigil on the cape. I was really surprised they didn't do that the first time round. and very happy that they did it this time round. It just seems like it just makes sense now, and I think that's enough for me to make me want this really badly. And also, I think there's a lot of people have mentioned it sort of opens the door for figures like Serpentor and Nemesis Immortal, and those ones that we probably, might not see again, but this might give them an opportunity to pop up again. Nemesis Immortal might be a bit difficult, but Serpentor for sure. I could see Serpentor coming on a card. Gross. Anyway, thank you, Adam, a Shark Eye Toy View. Go check him out. Then, of course, JB sent me these images of the green shirt in hand. So thank you very much, JB, for these images. And again, kind of interesting, excited for this one. To kind of add a little bit more sort of like, we've got Steel Core, which is great, but they're very much like specialized troop builders. And I like the thought of having like generic just dudes or whatever. And also green shirt females, please. I think that's something that would be really cool to do, like a female green shirt retro figure at some point in the future would be freaking awesome, wouldn't it? Because that's something they could easily do. Even if they're doing something slightly new with it and they want to kind of incorporate some of the parts into like a new female figure, that would be amazing. So I'd be down for a female green shirt as well as these guys. So, but just to have a little bit of like troop fodder knocking around the old displays would be kind of fun. It just makes it kind of, I don't know, just kind of fills out the diorama, makes it look a little bit more interesting. Even though you've got like 1,000 figures on there already, I kind of like making sort of like scenes out of it. Making a scene out of it. So yeah, very cool. This head looked a bit funny from the kind of lighting and the shot and everything. But again, we'll have to see how they kind of turn out in the kind of like in the actual production version, because I've got a feeling these might be sort of like early productions kind of samples or what have you. But I love how he's utilized, the JB's utilized that fist to kind of keep the head propped up to take a picture of it. I like your thinking. Genius. But it does look a bit funny, doesn't it, that one? It's an interesting head sculpt, that. So as well as the green shirt, we also got Televiper from JB as well. So thank you, JB. And we get a nice good close-up of the deco on the visor. I will say, I definitely think it should be more prominent, and maybe a color on the font that's a little bit more that stands out a little bit more, because I feel like it's very like almost like you can't really see it in some lighting on there, like it almost disappears. But yeah, I'm really excited for the Televiper. One of my favorite Cobra troop builders, honestly, and I'm excited to get this one very much. I love the vest. I love the sleeves in Seattle. I just think it looks dope, and I love the fact they did that with the visors. And yeah, I'm down. Give me more. And Alert as well. There you go. Look, you can see Alert on there too. But again, I think it should have been a different color font. Basically, I just feel like it's very much disappearing onto the visor. Basically, yeah. So anyway, and also massive shout out to WolfDog74 who sent me images of his in-hand Flint figure, and I've got to say I'm loving what I'm seeing with this Flint figure. A few people have mentioned he's definitely got softer features than the previous Flint, and I wonder if that's got anything to do with the fact that we're dealing with a Sunbow, effectively a Sunbow homage here, haven't we? So I don't know. I kind of feel like it works for Flint. I think he looks great. He does need, sometimes I feel like with Flint, he needs like a very faint 5 o'clock shadow. I feel like he's definitely a bit more sort of like, a bit more like that. Kind of a bit looser with his grooming regime. But I do love that. The figure's phenomenal. He looks so good. And I'm a fan of the original Flint figure. So, but seeing this, it's like I'm just happy that I've got 2 versions of Flint, 3 technically, with that Tiger Force one. So yeah, bring it on. Give me Flint, give me Televiper, give me Green Shirt, give me all of them. Mindbender, Bat, Rock and Roll, Viper. What else has come in? I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, Give me all of them, please, and thank you very much. And also a female green shirt, please. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, massive shout out, like I said, to JB, Shark Eye Toy View, Adam, and of course, Wolfdog74. Very much appreciated, guys, sending images and that, what have you. I do appreciate you doing that. And enjoy your very early retro figures. I'm not jealous at all. I am. Right then, leaked listings 2025. What have we got changed? Nothing. It's all the same as it was last time. No real changes here, guys. I'm not going to linger on it too much. I've got some shout outs to do still, so we'll move on to that pretty sharpish. So, like I said, nothing happening on 2025 that is new or changed or anything. 2026, we still have Taurus and Red Dog as the 2-pack, of course, JQ Johnny for 2026. No other changes. And if you've missed a few episodes, we have added 3 retro listings to this this wall of listings: Retro, Dexter, DD, and Mandark. So there you go. Don't know who they are yet, but should be fun, right? And yeah, hopefully we'll get some more information soon, because we've got less than a month before Yojo June. Oh God, I hope Yojo June happens. If we have to cancel Christmas this year, aka Yojo June, I will not be happy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The name only reveals officially. Sorry, Moondog74. My bad. Moondog74, not Wolf. I don't know where I got Wolf Dog from. Going back, sorry, the images of Flint were from Moondog74. My apologies. That was me being an idiot. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Anyway, thank you, Moondog. Appreciate you very much. Name only reveals Sergeant Slaughter Mercer and of course Taurus and Red Dog are the only official name onlys that are on there. And digital renders, of course, the Ore Striker, the MMS with Colonel Hawk, Retro Green Shirt, and then for Cobra, it's Slice and Dice, Cold Slither, and the Retro Bat. Again, hopefully we'll get more for Yojo June. I really hope so. And one more apology to Moondog74 as well. Now, I've gone too far, so I'm going to go back. But I'm not actually, because this actually makes perfect sense. I can palm this off as something that I actually meant to do. And now a word from our sponsor. Yes, the Battle Action Force Treasury, the Battle Force 2000. No, the Battle Action Force Treasury editions are available to order now. Not pre-order, but order now. I'll have to change that graphic. But yes, you can get them on totaltoybooks.com if you're in the UK or Europe, and skeletron.com in the US. But yeah, get involved because they're beautiful books. They're phenomenal. And of course, you can check out our chat with Brian Hickey, who's responsible for those. After this episode is finished, I'll post the interview with him where we talk about Total Action Force Volume 3, which is another project. It's like one after the other with that guy. It's crazy. Anyway, massive shout out to him, and continuing with the shout outs, because that's where we are right now. I'm going straight to articulated points to Phil and of course to Pat. Pat couldn't be on obviously tonight, but that's my fault. I couldn't do tomorrow. It's not Pat's fault. He was ready to go for tomorrow, but obviously I can't do tomorrow, so that's where you're getting the episode now. So shout out to both Phil and Pat of Articulated Points fame. Latest episode, I believe, is Phil's talking about the blue costumed rogue in Talking Point 52. You can go check that out right this second, and go and sub on Articulated Points, please, because they are very good and awesome. And that's a great video as well from Phil, who goes into lots of detail regarding this very rare and often not very often seen rogue in blue costume scenario as well. It's very cool. Also shout out to Brian Sauer, of course, for our wonderful graphics. We are working, of course, on the rebrand for June. Very excited about that. And also related to Brian, he runs, of course, Assembly Required, brought to you by Codename Iowa, the in-person G.I. Joe convention in Des Moines, Iowa, from November the 14th and 15th this year. The hotel block is up, so you can 100% go and secure your hotel right this second. Don't forget, they don't stay up for very long, so make sure you get that sorted. You can go to Codename Iowa, codenameiowa.com, to sort all that out. I'm not going to SDCC, I don't think. Sorry, someone asked me that question. Phoenix, sorry, I'm not going to SDCC, and I'm not going to Joe Fest, Andrew Davis, sorry. I will be doing assembly required, but that's all we can really do this year, unfortunately. Fans in Command, Assault on Cobra Island, assembly required. Like, again, so this is all about a little bit of fan interaction. So over the course of, well, from basically now until June the 2nd, each week a new target location will be revealed, and then a command poll will go live on the 2nd of June. You'll have until the end of Yojo June to vote for the 6 recruits you think are best equipped to accomplish this dangerous mission. And what's cool is so far we've had Eastern Beach was location 1, and a little bit of blurb about it as well. But now we've had a second location, doink, and it's Mindbender's Lab, the Terradrome, with a nice little image there. And it says, essential clues to Cobra's plot are hidden within the secretive confines of Dr. Mindbender's lab. Located beneath the Terradrome, this secure facility houses a horror show of supernatural science where the bad doctor experiments with mind control, brainwashing, reanimation, cloning, cybernetics, mutagens, and more. So this will all become clear on the 2nd of June, of course, when you get to vote on who's going to be assaulting Cobra Island. And of course, as well as AR, we have Armor, Operation Armor, which is the online version of AR. That's going to be happening as well this year. More information to come for not only the actual dates of the show, but the gear kit pre-orders as well. They're always really fun and amazing. As well as that, moving on, I should say, and massive shout out to Brian and everyone at Codename Iowa and at Assembly Required. You're all doing a phenomenal job. Now, the G.I. Joe Real American Hero Field Guide, courtesy of 3D Joe's, aka Carson. Amazing little kind of Kickstarter campaign going on at the moment. And again, he's absolutely decimated the initial funding goal. We're on to stretch goals. It's looking good. So massive shout out to Carson on that. And he just posted as well, not technically connected to this at all, but the link for the Kickstarter is in the description below. But he's also been popping up some cool stuff on the progress of Operation Recall, which was a project to create O-ring figures, utilizing obviously like fan input initially, and then of course all the legends being involved in the process of creating these figures, whether it be art, concept design, like Rudat and marketing with Kirk and all that kind of, all the kind of crazy cool stuff, with all of the different legends behind the original G.I. Joe vintage 82 to 94 sort of team. And on top of that, he's been revealing some of the progress on these figures. Salty Dog is pretty darn cool. We've got Shush as well. Shh. I don't know how you'd say that. I would say Shush, but it would probably be Shh. Be more. It's an amazing name, by the way, for a ninja. And how cool, they've got a cybernetic leg, which is insanely cool. But yeah, this one looks dope. I think this is my favorite of the ones they've done so far, the ones that they've shown off. Damselfly is just the card back in card art, but she looks really cool. Excited to see what that figure starts to or will look like. And of course, we also have Run Back and Pack Dog, which is amazing. That dog robot looks so cool, by the way. Like, proper Boston Dynamics vibes, isn't it? Black Mirror, unfortunately. But I love these. Amazing stuff. And yeah, I'm really excited to see more of this stuff from Operation Recall. Again, and Carson. Now, RoboSkull Mark IIs are available now at Skeletron.com. So shout out to Skeletron. Get in there. Get your RoboSkulls. Toy of the Year 2024. According to not just me, the words of Top Gear magazine. No, not just me. Multiple people have decided that it was Toy of the Year 2024, no doubt. So yeah, get involved with that right this second. Congratulations as well to Skybound for absolutely decimating the previous record held by the G.I. Joe Compendium set and breaking into 4 million. Was it 4.5 million? It ended up 4.3, something crazy like that. Congratulations on the Transformers Compendium set. Came to a close recently. Funded the original funding goal was 2 minutes. It's insane, but amazing stuff. Great job to Skybound and all involved. And yeah, phenomenal stuff. Very, very excited to see the fruits of that labor. put it that way. Now we're into Kickley Corner, and he posted one just as I was about to go live, so I didn't have enough time to put it up here. So Wetsuit and the Devilfish can maybe go up next week, I think. Anyway, I don't think I had enough time to put it in. No, I don't think I did. So Kickley Corner, we only get a couple of images from you, Kickley. Hit and Run, very awesome. 90-fingered Wild Bill, basically on, like the last rodeo, basically here, just like riding that bomb to the Terradrome. That is an interesting picture, and I want to know the narrative behind that one for sure. Hit and Run looks amazing. What I love about this Hit and Run shot is that he's like effectively like in the motion. He's either, I think I want to say he's getting up from having been in a prone position. Like he's been in like a position where the bipod's out for the machine gun, right? And now he's getting up as he's firing to move position. Or is he diving into the position about to be prone so that he's got the position ready? I don't know. It's up to you, isn't it, at the end of the day? Or Kickley will tell me afterwards. Also, Kickley informed me last week after I said that I think Storm Shadow was the one that shot all those cobras with his bow and arrow, then dropped his bow and arrow and kept slicing people up. No, apparently there is a red-haired apparition helping them out. Yeah, it looks like Scarlet is the one who took out the other troops with all of the little the crossbow bolts in them. So yeah, just a little bit of previous information that I should have given you guys last week, but Kickley had to message me and tell me. He also did this beautiful Once a Man roadblock kind of piece, and this great torpedo eel battle, which someone's bleeding. I'm gonna guess it's Torpedo, because that eel has got the knife, and no, Torpedo's got a knife as well, hasn't he? That and a knife. Yeah, it's probably the eel that's bleeding then. But yeah, anyway, very cool, love it. And apparently it was supposed to be Wetsuit, but he messed up, so that's why we've got Wetsuit on a Devilfish. Brilliant stuff. But yeah, that'll be for next week. I'll save that one for next week in Kickley Corner. There'll only be about 50 images to look at from Kickley, I'm sure. But I will keep sharing them, Kickley, because I love your work. It is very, very awesome. Anyway, that is pretty much that for Kickley Corner. I want to shout out Paul Plastic Battles. He has started a wonderful new little podcast, YouTube channel kind of video series where he looks at he did this a while back as well. So this is kind of like a return to that, in a sense, kind of a little hiatus that he had. But he does G.I. Joe Dossier 1 with looking at the Benelux catalogs, and it's this one I think was Skydro Walker. This first episode. I'm going to be on an episode of this. That will come in the future, of course. I'm very excited about that, because we go into some really cool detail about some beautiful, beautiful product images. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, and that will be coming eventually soon. But obviously, part 1 first. With Skydro Walker, and you can check that out. Link in the description, I believe. Yeah, always worth checking out. Paul does amazing stuff, and you should check out his Thursday Night Battles on Instagram as well. Always a lot of fun, and of course, he talks a lot about customizing, dio building, photography, you name it. Paul is brilliant at it, and graphics as well. Brilliant stuff. Also, massive shout outs, as I said before, to the Talking Joe team, Matt and Mark and Tim. Mark and Tim. I combined your names together then. Matt, Mark and Tim, for Talking Joe, the Energon Universe 2025 special. It was a lot of fun. Link in the description if you want to check that out. And finally, I got to chat with Matt Cohen of Shooting the Galaxy fame and posted that video yesterday, was it? So massive thank you to Matt for jumping on. Massive thank you to Hasbro for approving that and letting me post it. And yeah, loads of great stuff we chat about in that. All of his amazing work on all of the promo images for that he's done since. That's a Star Wars reference. Since what was the first one we looked at? They were like Toy Fair, New York Toy Fair promo images, Firefighter. So I think we started with the Firefighter and we worked all the way through to the most recent Claw images. And by the sounds of things, I might be also chatting to Corey, who is also at Hasbro, who works with Matt, of course, as photographer at Hasbro. So I might be talking to Corey soon as well, and we'll get his insight on some of the beautiful stuff he's done, because he's done loads of stuff too, including a lot of stuff that myself and Matt talked about on that episode. So yeah, go check it out if you can. Now, thank you very much for watching this episode of the Full Force Weekly. Thank you to all of you guys in the chat, on all the comments. Thanks for all the support, very much appreciated. Like I said, I will be posting that awesome little chat I had with Brian this morning on our page after this is done, and after I've done a graphic for it, and then that will go up for you guys to watch, like 10 minutes for you guys to get involved in, and also loads of cool more images in there to check out for what is going to be in the contents of that wicked Total Action Force Volume 3. Right then, I will return for Intel tomorrow for my Red Shadow Army and SAS patrons. Anything else that's happening this weekend? I think that's pretty much it. If we hit 6K, I have some videos lined up. So if we can hit 6K subs soon, it went from like, I think we had like 4 to go, and then I lost some, and I was like, oh, darn it. So subscribe to the channel and you'll get another video. Well, if you're already subscribed, this won't work. But if you're not subscribed to the channel and you want to see my, possible my top 6 most wanted GI Joe classified figures, then sub to the friggin' channel and we'll get this going. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. Sub to the channel, get to 6K, and I'll drop that first video, and then we'll have a top 6 Cobra or enemy. But I think they're all Cobra. No, they're not. They're not all Cobra. So enemy factions, and then a top 6 vehicles as well. When is Brian Flynn coming on? As soon as we can get it organized. Cobra Emperor 6, hopefully soon. Stanley, Lenny interview date yet? No, actually, I'll reach out, because we're in May now. So yeah, maybe I can get that going possibly even next week. I'll see if they're available next week. But we'll see, because they might say, no, we're still in, a situation, which is fine. It might end up being post Yojo June, but we'll see what we can do. I want to try and get them on before Yojo June and after. We'll see how it goes, but I will keep you informed, Stanley, for sure. Right then, I will see you guys on the next one. Stay fresh, cheese bags, and as always, after 3, 1, 2, 3, full force. Laters. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.